All right, this is the Big Douglas Show. We are live on a Friday. Fridays all off season longer for the fans. And for that today, we brought in Kayla Powell and Andy Burrows. Kayla, thanks for hopping on with us today.
My pleasure.
And Andy, we know you. You're not the new, but we always love having you on. How is
Uh,
over there in the UK today?
as hot as hell today, Doug. It's probably the only time we're as hot as you guys over there. It is boiling hot here today. So I'm roasting, but when Doug comes calling, you never say no. So always a pleasure, my friend.
It ought to be a little cooler. It's also 9 o'clock over there right now.
10 p.m. Yeah, 10 p.m. and it
10
is
p.m. That's right.
still
Yeah,
as
five hours.
yeah, we're 5 hours ahead of you, but yeah, it's still as hot as hell.
And Kayla, you're up in the DMV. Where are you at?
I'm in Fort Washington.
Okay, very good.
Part of
And what do you do there?
yeah. So basically I like come to liking sports since I was about 7 years old, maybe younger than that. Just always used to watch it with my granddad. I always used to be different, and it's just something I always picked up on. And it's always been my teams. The Washington has always been my team, and also the Wizards have always been my team. And I always just studied the game different. Like friends would come and go because I would like whatever. I just have a passion for it. Something what God called me to do, I'm not going to stop until I reach the goal that I want to have. Like I can just talk about my team all day, not just my team. I can break down other teams as well. It's just something I love to do. And now I work out. I do guest services at FedEx Field as well as work with the PGC 311 call center.
Okay, very nice. Andy, speaking of basketball, I'm sorry you
Oh,
lost last night. I'm sure this is upsetting for you.
dude, yeah, I had like 20 minutes sleep. The game finished at 4:30 a.m. Had to be up for work at 5 a.m. But we weren't good enough over the series. I think the Warriors deserve it. You know, we played well in patches. We didn't play well. We didn't play well enough over the series. I think the Warriors, as much as it pains me to say it, we didn't deserve to win this series and the NBA Finals. But yeah, it was a very. I haven't slept probably since what day are we now? Friday, Wednesday night. I last went to bed because of this game last night. So yeah, might actually get some sleep tonight, Doug. But no, the Warriors deserved it. We didn't play well enough over the course of the series. So yeah, kudos to them.
If Jason Tatum's not going to be the best player on the floor, you're going to have a hard time
Mm,
winning ball games, much less championships.
yeah, you need like
Also, when you
take.
have the amount of turnovers they have, that's just
That's
Mhm.
right.
that's
I
Most
think
most
uncalled for.
Yeah, third quarter turnovers throughout this series. Third quarter turnovers have killed us for the whole
yeah.
series. And last night was no different, really. We didn't seem to learn from mistakes of previous games. So, yeah, I mean, if Tatum, Marcus Smart, if all them guys, if they're not all firing on all cylinders, then and especially against a team like the Warriors, you might get away with it in the regular season, not playing well. But when you're in the NBA Finals, you can't afford to switch off for one quarter. And we switched off for far too many over this series. So, it is what it is. We'll try again next year, Doug. You know, we'll be back.
Let's get back to the football team a little bit. Kelly, you said guest services. I did not know that. Do you prefer to go to games live or do you prefer watching them at home?
Either one is good with me as long as I can see my team win. That's all that matters. But it's good to interact with the fans. I'm there to it's there to work, but at the same time to put like smiles on everybody's faces. Nobody has to just go in there. You never know what somebody may have went through that whole day. Maybe that one thing may have made their day. So just go in there. Just every time we would score a touchdown, going to the bound to the bottom, just dancing with the fans, like playing with the kids, just making sure there's no fights, just even just enjoying the game with them as well. Even if I'm at home, I like just cheering on my team.
And Andy, I know you love going to games. You're planning on coming for a couple this year, right?
Yeah, I will be over for the first game of the season. So there is 8 of us now flying over from the UK. We fly out on September the 8th. We land in DC September the 8th. And we're there for pretty much a week. So yeah, we'll be at the home opener. And then the plan is to come for the Cowboys game as well at the end of the season. And then hopefully come back for a playoff game and a Super Bowl. That would be nice. But
That'd be
we'll
amazing.
yeah, I'm definitely at where there's quite a few of us from the UK. So I'll see Kayla. I'll see you at the first game at FedEx Field.
Section
Um,
103, 104.
I'll come find you.
And that's one of the great things about going to the game live is to be able to do what we're doing now in person, which is showing our love of the team. And that's why I'm always happy about these Friday ones. Uh, People ask me all the time, Andy, how you became a fan all the way over in the UK. I know you've told it before, but I hope you tell us again.
Yeah, like I've said a few times on different shows, back in the late 90s, I spent some time in Washington, D.C., and the family that I was staying with at the time were big Redskins fans then, and they just said to me one day, "Do you want to watch some football?" And to me, football is that round ball that you kick, as you guys called soccer over there, which is the main sport over us here in the UK. I just sat down and watched it, 1998-99 season. And fell in love with the Washington Redskins, then now the Washington Commanders. And like I've said before, Dan Snyder had just bought the team. It was his very first game. I remember seeing it on the TV over there. I was based in Martinsburg, West Virginia. So I spent a lot of time there. That's where I was based. That's where I'd done a lot of work there and spent a lot of time. And just fell in love with the team. And fast forward to 2022, I'm hosting podcasts. I know people like you guys. I've made some great friends and friends that I class as very, very good friends as well now, all because of a football team. You know what I mean? All because of one, for the bad press that this football team gets. It does things like this, and I'm sure football and sports teams all over the world do this. But for us guys over here in the UK, and for me personally, I can't thank this team enough for what they've given me, and I absolutely love it. And you know what I mean? So if it wasn't for me being in Martinsburg in 1998, you and I wouldn't be sitting here now.
Thank goodness for West Virginia then.
Yeah,
I say that often. They're doing some cool things too, Andy. Right? They have been sending you care packages to distribute throughout England. Is that a fact?
Yeah, so I got a humongous care package for the UK draft party, and unfortunately we done it up in Edinburgh, Scotland, so not everyone obviously could make it. So I've just been distributing all out of the UK. I've just been putting on social media, look, I want to help out the UK fans. So I've been bagging up stuff. I've been going to the post office like every day with bags and bags of just people. Just inbox me your address and I'll send you some Commanders, like beanie hats, cup holders, some pin badges, anything that I can get out to fans, because you know what I just want to do. I just want to give the fans a voice over here in the UK, and you know, take the command. I want to do what the Jags are doing over here. They've really taken it. You know, the Jags UK group is enormous. They're our team, basically. They play at Wembley. They're going to be the UK Jags eventually, I think, in 4 or 5 years. So I'm just trying to do my little bit and, you know, spread the Commanders word over here in the UK. And, you know, I'm just playing a tiny, tiny part. But, yeah, I'm distributing stuff. I think I've still got maybe 2 or 3 to send. I'll try and do them tomorrow. So, yeah, the Commanders have been... Honestly, they've been amazing with me. You know, it's not often that you can sit here and you can message your team president and just ask him questions, and he'll just shoot the breeze with you, and the team sends you stuff. And yeah, you know what I mean. If all the bad press are going on around about our team at the minute, I can't praise them enough for what they've done for this community.
That's definitely true. That's really good.
Kayla, when it comes to the on the field product, do you prefer offense or defense?
Defense wins championships, but you can never go wrong with a great offensive line. They are underrated in the NFL, but defense wins championships. You're going to have to be able to stop the run. You're going to be able to have to stop the run. It's not always about interceptions and all of that. You have to stop the run. You got to make those third down stops also. And your offensive line has to protect the quarterback. They can allow holes for your running backs to go through the holes as well.
The offensive line was sneaky good last year, and it rated higher than a lot of people expected, particularly since, we were on the fourth center last year. It's incredible when you think about how important the center is to the overall product on offense, and we went to the fourth string. We also were on the second string quarterback all year, and I don't think that we even, we were in it, so we didn't realize it. Kale, how big of a jump do you think Carson Wentz will provide to the offense this year?
Honestly, Carson Wentz can take this team to the postseason. He just has to manage the game. He's a great quarterback. People always, first with the Jaguars game last season, they act like everybody has a perfect 16-year season. That 16-game season, that doesn't happen any given Sunday. That was just his Sunday. Also, this team didn't have as much talent as this team. You can also see off the field the smiles on his faces. He's building the communication with the players on and off the field. All that stuff is important. They're going to end up in the postseason with him. He's had the experience in the past, which is also great that Heineke did not have. With Heineke, we had 7 wins, and Wentz is way better than Heineke. So there's no way to go to descent from last year. We're going to have at least double-digit wins this season.
Andy, if we take the quarterback out of the equation, who is the most important player on the offense next year to get this thing rolling?
If he's here, Terry McLaurin still, I'd say. He's going to be here. Let's just put that to bed straight away. That's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if this time next week we're talking about him already signing a new deal. So let's put that to bed straight away. I think he's going to flourish with, he's not going to have all the pressure on him. We looked to him pretty much every time last season. I mean, if our running game wasn't working, there was only one guy we turned to when we were throwing the ball. And we had so many injuries throughout the season. You look at the injuries we had.
COVID hit hard.
COVID hit hard and everything. But I think Terry, once this new deal is sorted and everything, and he's got a steady quarterback that he knows that he's going to be there, knock on wood, that he's going to be there every game and remain injury free. I think Terry is going to shine. And I think he's going to prove why he's worth all the money we're about to pay him. A lot of people are like, is he elite? Is he not elite? Trust me, just because he's in the Commanders doesn't mean he's not elite. This guy is elite.
First thing, he's had production with a lot of quarterbacks up and down. Second of all, he's been available. Third of all, leadership. Fourth of all, you just can't beat that guy in the end zone. Like he's just a different type of player. Like there's just certain generational talents that you have to have. He's one, and they're going to have him. No, you got to speak stuff into existence. I'm tired of all the negativity around the team about when is he coming, when is he not coming. He will be there. The team has stated he will be there. What else do y'all want to know? Allen's contract lasted about the same time last season. There's still other wide receivers out at this time. Nobody had the same press about them. Other players who have the same contract issues like Dalton Schultz, the tight end for the Cowboys. Where's all the news about that? There's other wide receivers. DK Metcalf. Where's all the talk about that? But it says it's Terry in this organization. They want to push that narrative so bad when it's not. They always want to pull some type of negativity to the organization. When this year they're going to win and surprise everybody.
I tend to agree, and I think you made a great point. It seems like it was. Well, I know it was the end of July last year with Jonathan Allen when they got the deal done, right about before camp. It seems to be, if you go back even before this regime, that's what they did with sign big contracts right about before camp. I'm not sure if maybe that's when some of the NFL money that he gets from the TV deal hits, and that's why he likes to wait then. I'm not quite sure, but I mean, the history speaks for itself. That is what he does. Kayla, if you take out Terry then in the quarterback, who do you think is the biggest importance on offense this year?
On offense, I'm going to have to go with Antonio Gibson.
I love that. He's got some people to impress this year.
Very much so. He's going to be outside on the outside end, so he just got to maintain those fumbles. But I think he got that under control with the full offseason under him and a full running back room that's actually solid. With JD healthy, this team has way more weapons than people realize.
I completely agree with you. I think that Antonio's been hurt, played through, hurt. I respect. I say this all the time. He reminded me of Morgan Moses. Morgan seemed to always be hurt, but he clocked in every Sunday, and to Gibson's credit, he did the same thing. And he's got somebody pushing him. Brian Robinson is going to push him for carries, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that allows Antonio Gibson to be healthy, ergo more explosive, I'll take that. It also sounds like Gibson has dropped a couple pounds, maybe a little lighter. I think people forget it wasn't learning how to play running back for Gibson. It was learning it just as much as that. It was learning to take that pounding. Playing receiver at college, you had corners and safeties, maybe a middle linebacker hit you. In the league, you've got 320, 330-pound defensive tackles putting their hands on you all the time. And I definitely think that's a great point. And he's looking for a payday. So, after this year. So he really needs to, as much as we hope he has a big year, and I think it's important for how this team functions, he's getting ready to get paid soon too. It'll be interesting to see what Washington does.
He's just got to do the fundamentals right. Just go back to doing what got him to the dance. Do the fundamentals of football right. It sounds basic, but look after the ball and he'll honestly be fine. I think he got in his own head a little bit too much last season. Once he gets out of his own head, play his game, relax, and just trust his ability. That's the problem we have at Washington sometimes. We don't trust our own ability enough. We have the ability. We just need to trust ourselves. And it's hard because it's Washington. But block out that outside noise and go and do our business. And like Kayla says, I think we're going to surprise a lot of people this season.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule itself, for whatever it's worth, is much easier. You're not going to have the John Allen's and the Patrick Mahomes and.
But at the same time, this team, they actually play better when they play teams as above them. Last year they played well against Green Bay. It was that mistake with Heineke at the end zone that would have ended that game. They played good. They played good against the Buccaneers. They play good against Russell Wilson. They play good against Derek Carr. So that's not the issue. That is not the issue at all.
You look at the first two games. The Jags and the Lions are probably looking at us, going, "We can win these games." They're probably looking at us the way we're looking at them. You know, they're probably thinking, "We've got Washington first two games." They're thinking, "Well, we're going to win that." So, like, they're going to flip it. The kid is right. We need to do step up is the Jags, is the Lions. When we think we're going to win,
underdogs.
Disaster strikes for us because we're looking. I said this on a previous podcast. I said, game one, the Jags are looking to come into FedEx Field and stomp a hole in us because they'll be thinking, "Hey, this team are vulnerable." And if we all know what happens with Washington. It's sad to say because we are known to crumble. If teams get into us, we will fold like a deck of cards. We have to beat the teams, the Jags, the Lions. We have to be looking to win, but they're looking exactly the same. I've listened to some of their fans over here that I listen to on UK podcasts. They're thinking they're walking into FedEx and in game one, and I think that they're thinking they're going to beat us and beat us convincingly.
True, and why wouldn't they? Right? I mean, there's no reason, there's no evidence to show that they shouldn't feel that way. I bet you they're super excited about their quarterback this year. But I think so are we. I find this so interesting. We were having the same conversation last year, Andy, when we thought it was going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. And so interesting to me, nothing has changed about the lineup. Nothing, except for they may have added more talent, and you're assuming that Curtis Samuels is healthy this year. And yet the buzz with the new quarterback, not nearly the buzz. I mean, last year this time, there were people talking nationally about Washington because of the addition of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, I know we're coming fresh off the playoff game, and I'm sure that created some buzz, but I think it's a pretty simple argument to say Wentz is better than Fitzpatrick. Not nearly the same buzz this year, though.
No, he's definitely. And I mean, this time last season, we were all thinking, okay, well, people like Terry, we're gonna throw the ball down the field because that's what Fitzpatrick is known for. Well, geez, we've got Wentz now. He's 10 times the quarterback that Fitzpatrick would be. He's already
and the speed.
The speed. There you go. Everything is better about this guy. We just have to. In Washington, we seem to be frowned upon if we get excited about having these players. You can't do that. You're Washington. Well, why not? Cowboys can go and get Dak Prescott, and other teams can go and get good quarterbacks and be excited. So why can't we?
Exactly. One other narrative that I've heard was Jahan Dotson. They keep saying because we're praising Jahan Dotson, something's going on with Terry. What's wrong with having more than one weapon on your offense? Nothing at all. If Tom Brady was saying, let me give you Terry plus another good wide receiver to go next to him, he'll be ecstatic. Their fan base won't be saying nothing. But as soon
That's right.
Yeah, we got people like Logan Thomas. You got Logan Thomas coming back as well.
And it's hard to praise Terry.
That tight end room will be the only thing about the tight end room is the only thing about the tight end room is good. I just wish that the coach would have stayed another season to groom those guys.
Yes, the coach there is maybe not the same caliber, but a guy that's been around football for a long time and coached multiple different positions. And I like that he actually spent time coaching the offensive line because that's really what this tight end room needs more than anything. They got a lot of guys that are natural catchers of the football, maybe not so much in the blocking. So to have Castillo, who has got former offensive and defensive line coaching experience, I think actually is a bonus for the room. But I'm with you guys. I'm fairly excited about the tight end room, and we should be, and we need to be, because I would imagine that tight end one starts the year on the PUP list and will miss 4 games. It doesn't sound like he'll be ready for game one. So to have that kind of depth is a good thing.
Who do y'all think has the better chance of making the roster? Antonio Gibson, Reyes, or the other Hodges? If Thomas starts on the PUP list, I'm saying with ADG because I love Reyes to death, but he has to get on the field. Even last season, with him transitioning sports, you have to get on the field. Even they had a COVID offseason last year, but this season they're not in the COVID protocols. You need to be on the field, even if it's early. You got to get that connection with your teammates. You got to build that rapport with the coaches. You got to catch balls when you're not. You got to be on the field, especially since he's switching sports altogether. And Antonio Gibson, Antonio Golden Gibson, you gotta love that work ethic that he portrays. He just have to love that work ethic. But I think Hodges is going to end up on the practice squad.
That's why I think preseason is going to be interesting this year for once. Usually I get bored during preseason games. I'm not going to lie. This season, though, if you look at it, like Kelly just said, the tight end guys are going to be out there trying to get a roster spot. Sometimes, come like the third or fourth quarter of these preseason games, you've kind of zoned out a little bit. But now, this preseason, you're looking at Sam Howell, you're looking at the tight end room, you're looking at what we've got a wide receiver. You're kind of like preseason is going to be actually quite interesting this season, I think.
I agree. And just to follow up on the tight end room, I would guess that a couple of those guys hit the practice squad, particularly when Thomas comes back. I think you definitely got, I would get AGG and Hodges on the practice squad and Reyes on the practice squad as well. And maybe one of those guys like Reyes does.
Especially the way we are with injuries.
And the practice squad rules have changed, so you can roster more guys there than you used to.
Yeah,
so.
You never used to be able to keep. Now you can keep a few. I think is it two or three more like per sector of your team. So there's no reason. There's no reason why you couldn't have two or three of them on the practice squad.
And the other thing I think will be interesting, Andy, about preseason is the work that Howell gets.
I want to see Howell to Diami Brown. I want to see that connection.
I want to see it. But we know as an organization, they know as the talent evaluators what Heinicke is. He's probably a top 2 or 3 backup in the league. And so the more work that he can show early on in the preseason, I think he'll be a viable commodity if somebody has a player go down.
Injury. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. A quarterback. I think he's one of those guys another team could give you some assets for. But you would only feel comfortable in that, I think, if you can get Howell out there on the field during the preseason a little bit, see what he's got, see what happens. Because, frankly, if you plan on hitting the playoffs, and it's why the Bills wouldn't let Trubisky go last year, the backup quarterback's very important if you plan on making a playoff run, as we've seen ourselves. If the main guy goes down, it's a luxury to have that. So getting Howell works so that eventually Heinicke can be moved if necessary, I think is also very important this year. And just kind of goes to your point, Andy, about how many guys are on this team that kind of excites you a little bit.
They do. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to watching preseason. I watch all the games anyway because I'm just crazy. But I'm actually genuinely looking forward to see what Ron does with preseason, because I think there's still going to be a few slots that might surprise us and come game one. I think there's still a couple of spots open for that Ron's really going to be he's really going to be looking at. And obviously, we don't know what's going on with Terry, but let's just say, for argument's sake, that's a done deal. You're going to want to see what Dotson's got and players like this, and Diami Brown. It's going to be a good preseason for the Commanders. Big year, huge year, as it is for all of them. And I think because of the easier schedule and because again it's Washington and we're kind of hyping them up. But like I said earlier, why shouldn't we hype our team up and be excited? Every team in the NFL is excited for the September game one. We're no different. Why? Because we're Washington. Let's get that's the buzz that we need to create around this team. We need to get excited, and let's do it, and let's bring some positivity to this team instead of all the doom and gloom 24/7. Let's be excited about what we're going to do come the game one in September, and let's roll. Let's go and win 10, 11 games. Why not?
Now, I agree with you, Andy, because that's just in my nature. But in fairness, if you want to be a doom and gloom fan, it's been 20 years and you've had your reasons to not be. So I'm not going to, shame you if you have now moved. My brother is not a doom and gloom, but he has definitely moved into the you got to show it to me lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
That's fine. I respect and appreciate that. I think the team's got real possibility this year, but I said that last year.
Yeah, I've said it I've said it many years. Gaylor's the same.
But you can tell the difference in the locker room. There's a difference with that team.
Feels like it.
There's definitely a difference.
Chip on their shoulder.
There's definitely a difference. You see the players out there dancing together, we're doing their fraternity stuff together and everything else, singing. Like, you see them jumping, like they want to get better. They're tired of the media. They want to get better. They just want to win. You can tell the difference. And we keep on saying, oh, yeah, they're going to have a bad offseason. You practice what you preach. If the fan base not on board, why would you want to play for a fan base who thinks y'all going to have a bad season anyway?
Yeah, and any fan that thinks players don't check to, like Jonathan Allen said, they don't check Twitter, they're lying. They hear what this fan base says. Trust me. And if, like you say, don't get me wrong, you're not going to be, tweeting with the birds and happy 24/7, but it's preseason. Let's build our guys up. So come game one, they want to run through a brick wall, not just for Ron Rivera, but the people that are going to be sitting in that stand. You know what I mean? You've got a chance now to maybe start a season 3-0 for the first time in a very long time. And you've got a chance to pack out a FedEx Field.
You want to get rid of the doom and gloomers, Andy. That's how you do it. It's the only way to do
win.
it.
Just win.
Us can sit here and talk about rainbows until the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get those folks without winning. And listen, you're not going to keep us very long if you're not winning either.
Yeah,
it's hard. You know this. It's hard to keep on all season long when the losses keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the best roster we've had, since maybe the 2016 team. Is that the Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Pierre year? So I mean, there should be reason to be excited about it. Let's switch gears and go to the defense. Carol, I'll ask you the same question I asked Andy. Take out Chase Young because I think that's the easiest answer.
Yep, that's my shirt. I
know. but who is the most? I mean, who carries the most burden getting this defense heading in the right direction?
It has to be Jonathan Allen, and I also want to say Kendall Fuller, because his vocalness on that back end of the field is going to be a lot this season. That I think that they're going to have I think their struggle will still be linebacker. I still think they're going to add one more veteran based off of the press conference I've been hearing. After they figure that out, I think they'll be perfectly fine. But Jonathan Allen has to be that leader. He needs to get that team. They need to play together. Week 1, first snap of the game. It doesn't mean getting sacked. They need to play together. They can't be on the field all third down. They got to get the ball right back to the offense so they can score fast and so they can come back on the field. I think with the defense, like the corner William Jackson, I'm expecting to get big year from St. Juice though this season. That's what I'm expecting the big year from St. Jude's. But Fuller and Allen are two important pieces on that defense.
Andy, before you answer the same question, just to your point earlier, they definitely watch social media and they definitely see a lot of what goes on there. I know that for a fact. I know you do too. I always think it's interesting when people say they don't pay attention to that stuff. It's a lie they do.
Oh, all sportsmen do it.
No doubt. Just like you and I do. I mean, it just is what it is. It's,
it's life.
We all live in that world, in the same world together. I'm not sure why everybody would assume that they just don't do it. But I will shoot that same question to you. What is the key to defense this year? Because ironically enough, we talk all the time about how important it is to score a lot of points. And we didn't score a lot of points last year, but the offense actually wasn't the reason we lost a lot of those games. It was like the second worst defense that the league's ever seen. So tell me who we need to get going next year to get that defense rolling.
Someone that I'm looking to really lead this team now, and I think he will, is Cameron Cole. I think the guy is tremendous. And if you were talking about the offense, you want to build a team around Terry. Well, on the defense, you want to build a team around players like Cameron Cole. I think this guy is an exceptional exception. He's very underrated not just in Washington, but in the
very
NFL.
So.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a guy to shine. And, you're going to want to look at players like him. And then you look at, you've got like the middle linebacker, you've got Jamin Davis, you've got Cole Holcomb. Players like that really need to step up because they're under a little bit of, Ron's under a little bit of scrutiny. We're not quite sure what's going on at the middle linebacker. Should we have gone on and get more, a bit more depth there? So, like you guys were saying at the start of the show, it's the defenses that are going to win. I think we'll score points. It's just how many we can keep out of the other end now. It's not a concern, but it's something that I feel that we need to improve on from last year and in previous seasons. Washington, we've
just communication on defense has just been terrible.
We've given away too many easy plays. Yeah, if you look throughout the games last season,
and tackles, they can't tackle. Like their tackling is off. Like I don't know.
Wrap players up. Sometimes. You've got to wrap. If you look at yardage after tackle against Washington, I bet if you pull up them stats, Doug, it's going to be we're probably at the top end of the league. If you look at yardage after catch against our defense, so that's something that I'd like to see us work on. It's the amount of times I was literally watching the TV. You watch a player catch the ball, you think you'd got him, and then he'd run for another 20 yards. That's what Washington really need to focus on. And I pray to God that we will. That's why, when I've talked to people like Cameron Cole, I really want him to he's already a leader, but I think he'll go to that next level this season and put his team on his back and say, look, come with me and we'll be fine.
I think it's also part of the reason people wanted changes in that back end. They wanted changes to the coaching staff. I think that the people inside the building saw the improvements that the defense had made in the second half. Mm-hmm. And some of the new additions like McCain and William Jackson III were starting to feel more comfortable in their roles. You know, they had St. Juice, who I am with you, Kel. I thought he played well, and I think he's super important. I'm very curious to see how they use him this year. It sounds like out of camp, at least, he's in the nickel. I personally, when watching him last year when he played nickel, didn't think that was the right spot for him. But Fuller wasn't very good in the slot last year either, so I can see why if he's the best option, that's where he's at. So that back end, I think, is very important. And then, Andy, no doubt about it, I agree, Kayla, they will add another linebacker, but they really are running this thing with the two they got.
Mm-hmm.
So very important. Holcomb's got to take a huge jump.
Oh, massive jump. Be a leader. Be a team leader. Literally, like I said, put the team on your back. Like I said about Carl, go out there. And I almost want him to go out there with a chip on his shoulder to say, look, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. We're all talking about maybe we should have got more depth in this position. Let him go out there every Sunday and just dominate. You look at all the good defenses around this league. They dominate. They go on the field and you think, wow, we're not, go and look at like the Chargers or something like that. You think, wow, we're not scoring many points here. This is where Washington, they need to get to that level. And again, it comes back to people going, oh, you can't do that. You're Washington. Well, no, we can do that if we just have that belief. Belief's a big word for me this season. I think Ron Rivera and get that into the team.
And just can't be overstated how much easier it is on the defense to be able to play with a lead.
Oh,
how many times did those guys get to play with a lead?
And how much time did they spend on the field?
Yes, correct.
That is, they're on, and then
part of that's their own fault because they couldn't get off the field on third downs. But
you've got people like Heineke throwing picks. You're not going to have touchwood. I pray to God you're not going to have our quarterback throwing picks after being on the field for like 2 minutes and the defense not getting a breather. So hopefully now we'll ball management, game management, all these things that sound basic. Washington needs to do better, and I think hopefully we will now.
Let's wrap with this. Kayla, what in your mind makes for a good season this year?
Consistency all season, and at least 10 wins, and also they just need to play as a team.
I love that. Andy, what's going on with the podcast? You guys got something coming out this week?
Yeah, I can't. So Freddie's not around this week, so I'm doing one of my last ones. I'm taking a break for a couple of weeks. Got some family stuff coming up, but we are recording tomorrow, and I don't want to say it is, Doug, because these things can go wrong. We had issues with Zoom last week. When I say that we've got one of the biggest celebrities on the planet coming on tomorrow, I mean I've got one of the biggest celebrities on the planet coming on tomorrow. Pray to God it all happens, but we're recording tomorrow, and it's going to be a name that literally everyone across the world will know, and someone that I literally can't wait to interview. So new show will be out tomorrow. Hopefully, once it all gets uploaded tomorrow or Sunday, we'll have a podcast out over at the bunker. And then Freddie's taking the reins for a couple of weeks while I spend some time with the family. You know how these family things go, Doug. You got to go and do them every now and again. So I'm taking a couple of weeks off. Freddie's going to fly the ship. But yeah, touch wood, Doug. I'm not going to say who because you know how these things go. But yeah, tomorrow, my man, you're going to be. Hopefully, you like all we've got coming on.
Very good. Well, we'll be looking for it.
Thank you,
lady, gentlemen. I appreciate you so much for coming on here.
Can I say one more?
Yes, please.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to shout out the Washington Infantry. Everybody, please follow them.
Yes.
The Commander Infantry is a Twitter movement. They're great. They're great spreading the news about the camp, good positive stuff instead of what the media pushes out every morning at 9 a.m. And just follow me also. I'm up and coming. Just follow me also at Kayla.
I'll see you at game 1.
942. See you at game 1.
I'll come find you, my friend.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Doug.